Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show for the pre-show.
Thank God you're here.
Someone didn't run WTF until we reminded him.
I was walking into the studio to do it.
At 2:18 p.m.?
I was walking into the studio to do it. Look, this is a results-oriented business. Did the show run or not?
Oh, well, if that's fine, Mr. Deadline, I'll remember this one. I want to cut that one.
You're saying the show got on the air.
The icing on the cake
by hook or by
was
crook.
when I said, Ish texted you, run the show, because I was driving. I was driving the swag wagon. And I was like, someone go on his Twitter and tell me if he's been tweeting. And like 8 minutes beforehand, you were clearly watching the soccer game.
Yes.
And I was like,
yes.
Men.
I'm sorry, the World Cup is on.
Yep, a lot more important than women talking football. I should have known that one.
I mean, the World Cup happens once every 4 years. Your podcast happens every week. You know? So, how was your weekend?
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go see football in person.
You did get to go see football in person.
Not that was the best football to be seen.
I'm mad at you.
It was
I'm mad at you. You talked me into Lano.
It was a tough weekend for me and my sports heart.
Well, it was.
Lano, Mean Green,
Cowboys,
USA. The Cowboys ended up winning. That was the only.
I didn't know.
That's the only thing that happened. Michigan State lost for Mallory. There was one other. We were down bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you had an important weekend that also didn't sounded like it went according to plan. It was a rough weekend for I think everybody on the staff.
So yesterday or Saturday was Hank's birthday. Hank turned 4.
Big doings.
Today is Max's birthday.
Numero uno.
Max is 1 today. Max turned 1 at 2:30 this morning.
That's the biggest biggest birthday.
He turned 1, so happy birthday, buddy. So we had planned out this, and one thing you've got to remember is that in my line of work, especially because of August through December, I am functionally an absentee father. Mm-hmm. That means that my wife and I plan out things. We sit down and usually mid-July, we have a actual family meeting. Jen and I sit and plan things out. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, we got to have a birthday party for the boys. December 3rd, Saturday, we'll do a joint birthday party for the boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Rented out this indoor playground in a local part of town, and invited all friends and things like that. It was a Blaze and the Monster Machines theme party. Very exciting. Friday night, Max starts crying a little bit. I go up and I grab him, and this dude is burning up. I mean, on fire.
Poor little guy.
On fire. We have the head scanner thing,
yeah.
Right? The thing. And those things, I usually do it 8 times and then you get an average.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because those things can be real, depending on how close you are and where you're scanning, things like that. 8 times. So I scanned him 8 times, and he's popping 103.
Oh, man, that's.
He's not a mild fever.
No, that's getting into dangerous territory.
Real fever.
Yeah. I know that 104 is about the time you need to start
thinking about medical health
attention. Yeah.
So he's straight up not having a good time.
Yeah.
Take him to the doctor's office. Opens at 9 in the morning. Dad takes him over. I take him over to there, and they run some tests. And Max has the flu.
Poor fella. So he had to miss his birthday party.
So while everyone else, because my wife's folks came in, my wife's brother came in for this birthday party. And so everyone goes over to the indoor playground and has a great time, except me and Max. We hung out at home. And I know you're a big fan of Max.
Yeah.
He's one of your favorite people. I'm glad you didn't see him. He looked pitiful.
You sent me.
He
send me a picture of Max, and I went, "Oh, he's actually sick." It wasn't. That's the moment that I knew it wasn't just a cold. When I saw him, I was like, "Oh, he's down."
He's And he's a snuggler, but he's like every opportunity he like fell asleep on me.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so now the good news is he's on the mend.
Good.
I think his fever's gone, knock on wood. He's doing a lot better now. We're keeping him out of school for the next couple of days. Grandma's staying for a little bit longer to watch him. But yeah, it was rough first birthday for the boy.
I was going to say, the
Tough.
the picture you sent, I went,
He looked
oh
pitiful.
my gosh, he's really sick.
He's just like, oh God. He just I don't know. He had a tough weekend.
Yeah. Poor
And
guy.
yeah. So anyway, Hank had an awesome birthday.
Yeah, I saw the cake and
And he got
all his friends were there.
his grandparents chipped in and got him a bike. He's
Nice.
fired up. So like he had a great party and a great time.
Has he really has he gotten the bike out?
He's gotten the bike out. He's tried it out. He's trying to figure out the pedals
Yeah.
because it's the thing is we got him one with handbrakes.
Uh-huh.
And so what he's trying to do is he's got to figure out that your feet just keep going all the way around.
Oh,
because
yeah.
what he wants to do is he wants to get like down here and then like come back and then do that.
Oh, yeah.
And come back. And I'm like, no, we got to go. So we're working on it. But he's doing great. So
That's
he had a great
exciting.
birthday party. He had a great
Good.
weekend.
I am
did.
excited for that for Hank. And to, honestly, as bad as this sounds, Hank would remember if he got sick on his birthday. Max isn't
Yeah.
going to remember this. So if it
Yeah.
was one way or the other, Hank would have been a lot more heartbroken and not have a party
Absolutely.
than Max.
100%.
So it worked out.
Now,
I don't like Max being
now
sick,
Mom
but-
was having a tough time.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
you know,
and
first
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little thing tonight with him because I think he's going to feel a little bit better. We baked them a cake. It's a whole thing.
Good.
Anyway.
Hank better be in charge of sprinkles again.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that was my weekend. Hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, texasfootball.com, corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's wearing her Christmas sweater. She's Ashley Pickle.
I would consider this more of a Christmas shirt. It's
Is it not a sweater?
No, it's a little hotter outside today, so I went with the
It's warm.
Christmas shirt. But yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy
Merry
Chrysler.
Merry Crimbus to everybody. Today is Monday, December 5th, 2022. It is a certain number of days until Thanksgiving. That number of days is 353. Happy birthday to Max Tepper.
Let's go.
And happy anniversary to a text message that I received from my mother-in-law while I was on the air on Valley Sports Southwest, which read, Greg, I think baby is coming. Call me. Anyway.
In which you responded, "Are you being serious?"
Are you being serious?
No
Which,
question
like,
mark.
again, I've said this story before, but, like, again, she wouldn't joke about that.
Uh-huh.
And, like she wouldn't, just
it
knowing
seemed-
her, and that's, like, just knowing her, she's very funny. I love my mother-in-law, but, like, that is not a kind of thing. She's not a practical joker.
Right.
But, like, at that moment, I couldn't necessarily grasp.
It seems so far-fetched that it was happening right then.
Correct. And so I was like, are you being serious? That's not what I meant. What I meant was, say that again. Anyway, episode 1510. On today's show, folks, we got Monday Morning Fallout. We're going to overreact to the football weekend. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of one of, I would say, two Cinderellas left in the Texas high school football playoffs.
Yes.
One of them is New Home. We've already had their coach on the show. The other one is Jeremy Jenkins, the head coach of the Harmony Eagles. 5-loss Harmony, 0-4 Harmony playing for a state semifinal for the first time in program history. We'll talk with Jeremy Jenkins coming up here at the back half of the program. But first, do we have first four through the door?
Real fast, I was going to say, when a school's name gets put in all caps in our Slack chat, like Harmony, you know that's a Cinderella story.
Happened a few times.
In the regional finals when you get all caps sent.
Yes.
We sure do, and we will start off with the first one through the door. State championship bound head coach of the Abbott Panthers, Coach Terry Crawford.
How about that? I texted him after the game, and I said, fine, I guess we won't have you on at halftime. And he was like, yeah, okay, deal.
Sorry, bud, I'll be on the field.
Good bit.
Super excited for him. Nick Morton, Ed McElroy, and Daniel Agnew, welcome in, fellas, but especially to the state championship-bound coach, Coach Terry Crawford.
State finalists, Abbott Panthers.
That's exciting.
Look, hey, listen, I'm not here to pat ourselves in the back, but this is number 1 Westbrook versus number 2 Abbott in the preseason magazine, so. Anyway. Pickle, hit the air raid siren. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend, the final Monday Morning Fallout of the season. We won't do this again till August.
Yeah, because there will be nothing left to overreact to.
Next week we're just going to vibe.
We're just
going to
vibe.
Yeah.
No overreaction, just vibes.
Just vibes next Monday. All right, next Monday. So last Monday Morning Fallout of the weekend or the year. Let's finish it out in style. Let's start with my 3 big thoughts. Thought number 1, margin call. Of the 44 UIL Texas high school football games this weekend, 12 were one-score games. 12 of them. And there were others that I think were functionally one-score games that got away late. I think an example of that is Brock and Whitesboro. Brock and Whitesboro was really nip and tuck. Brock scored late again to ice it. But that was for the purposes of the game, a one-score game that wasn't. It ended up being 11.1. The thing about these games, as we get deeper into the playoffs, obviously the teams are getting better and the stakes are getting higher, but I think that the margins get smaller. That's the biggest thing, especially with some of these games that we knew were going to be tight. And we had some instant classics. Cuero and Silsby on Friday afternoon is one of the wildest high school football games I've ever seen.
It was awesome.
After I've spent the weekend thinking about it, and I didn't want to be a prisoner of the moment. Mm-hmm. It's not the wildest game I've ever seen. It is one of the wildest games I've ever seen.
And the fact that they decided to play that at 1:30 and be the only game on was just
perfect.
Chef's
really
kiss.
Good. Really good. With just an unbelievable amount of playmakers out there coming up with big play after big play, where the margins were so small. Refugio and Shiner lived up to the hype. Mm-hmm. Refugio and Shiner, I think, all things considered, had the biggest play of the year in Texas high school football. And that is on 4th and 12 from their own 13, Refugio's Keelan Brown hits Isaiah Avery for an 87-yard touchdown pass with 3.5 minutes to go. And takes the lead.
Yeah, it looked
that
like...
If they do not convert, Shiner's up 21...
It was 28-21, I think, at that...
Final was 27-21. So then
they're
up 21-20.
Yeah.
I think they were up 21-20 or maybe... Yes. 21-19, whatever it was. If they don't convert that, Shiner gets the ball on the Refugio 13, and the game is over.
Yeah, because
they're going to give the ball to Dalton Brooks 4 times, 5 times, however many times it takes, and they're going to score a touchdown, and Shiner's going to play in a state semifinal.
I was after the last Shiner touchdown, I had picked Shiner. I took a deep breath because I was like, that was it. That was the dagger. Like, they're going to run this clock out. They need one more stop, and then they did not get that one more stop.
The other thing, so Refugio coach, this is from Mike Foreman, our friend of the Victoria Advocate. Refugio coach Jason Herring on 4th down call. I feel like if we punted, they were going to nickel and dime us. We had 2 timeouts, and they were up, and they were going to win the game. Last time everyone said, I can't believe you called that 4th and 1 from your own 11. There's never a question. The question was, what play was I going to call? That is a perfect example of the margins being so thin. Vandegrift and Dripping Springs, the margins were so thin. Austin Novosad stuffed on what would have been a game-winning quarterback sneak. Smithson Valley and College Station.
God darn, man. Unbelievable call by our Tommy Yarish on that, by the way. If you didn't see that game, go back and watch it on Texan Live.
The finish of that game was so wild. So College Station's up, I want to say 20, whatever the final score was, 20, 26, 21, something like that. They're up. And they have to punt from basically their own end zone. We have a true, he has trouble with, and there's like a minute left, 50 seconds left. We have a true, he has trouble with the snap moment. Smithson Valley takes over at the 5. Mm-hmm. And College Station stonewalls them, I want to say 6 times. I want to say they stop them because I know there's a penalty in there.
It was either 5 or 6.
They stop them and get to a state semifinal. The margins this week were so razor thin. And the difference between playing this week and heading home were
one play.
One play. And that's where we're at this year, at this time of year. Those types of things, it takes a little bit to get there. That's thought number 1. Thought number 2, leapfrogs. I was never worried that TCU was going to make the playoff coming into this week. I was never worried. There was only one set of circumstances that they would have missed the playoff in my thought.
If they got
and that was if
off.
they got boat raced in the Big 12 championship game. And I just didn't think that was going to happen. I thought that was outside the scope of possibility.
There was a moment where it looked like it was getting possible.
Oh, yeah.
But
I also knew they're going to find a
early.
counterpunch.
Yeah,
they have all year.
Yeah.
Now, they lose. They lose the game. And I had TCU buddies who were sweating yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I get it. I was not. I did not think it was going to be an issue. Because I thought that they were very clearly, I think they had done enough to at least, at the most, drop to 4.
4, yeah.
Now, that was what I was worried about.
Yes.
I was worried they were going to drop to 4 and get fed to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. There was 1% of me that is forever worried about the decision of the playoff committee just because we've been burned so many times in the past.
And
so
TCU has been burned.
I will say 99% sure they would get in. There was 1% of me that was like, you never know.
You never know. They might put Alabama in.
But I was more on the 50-50 split as to they should be the 3rd seed. Will they be the 4th seed? Because that's what I was more concerned about. But there still was. I'm not going to lie. There was the 1% chance of me going, they've done dumber things in the past.
They absolutely have. They end up losing the game, but making the playoff and staying at number 3 and facing Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl in the international semifinal. It's historic. Obviously, it's the first Texas team to make the college football playoff. I think they are rightful underdogs to Michigan, but I also think they can beat Michigan. I don't think Michigan is some sort of world beater. I do. I would not say the same thing if they were playing Georgia. I would not say the same thing. I think Georgia's on a different level.
Yes.
I think Georgia's, in my opinion, very clearly the best team in college football.
Which, at that point, if you get your doors blown off by Georgia in the national championship, it's fine. You made it to the national championship.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Which actually is a nice segue into my final thought.
Uh-huh. You're welcome. I'm here as your sous chef.
The cruelest round. And I say this every year at this time. We're into the state semifinals. There's 20 games. There's 40 teams left. There's only 20 tickets to AT&T Stadium. Mm-hmm. This is the worst round to lose in.
110%.
And I don't think there's really any doubt about that.
No.
Sorry, coach is like,
you will see. Well, I'll say this: you will see tears in the regional final.
Yeah.
You are guaranteed to see tears when you get to the state.
Because you're so
final.
close.
Like we've always said, if you go get your doors blown off in the state championship game, your name still goes down in the history books.
100%. 100%. I'll give you an example. Okay. Let's talk about 2012 Corsicana Mildred. 2012 Corsicana Mildred. They make the title game and they get absolutely clobbered by East Bernard. Mm-hmm. Clobbered. 56-14. Drilled. Like, no contest. That was Nick Shemenek, the quarterback there for Mildred. Okay? Drilled. Okay? But I remember 2012 Corsicana Mildred. I have no idea who they beat in the semifinal. Mm-hmm. No idea. No idea.
I would even have to, if you want to use a really recent scenario, I would have to rack my brain to remember who Gilmer played in the regional final when they lost 70, when Carthage dropped a 70 burger on them 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. You know who they beat? They beat Graham.
Okay, yeah, I would not have.
No.
I could have thought hard enough about that, but I wouldn't know it.
If you, the stakes are, I think the stakes are high. Stakes are as high this week as they are next week.
Because get there.
If you win this week, you're remembered forever. Even if you lose, you're remembered forever. And if you lose this week, you're a footnote.
Yep, you were 1 week away from making it to AT&T Stadium.
It's tough. It's tough to say, but it's the truth. This is the cruelest round of the playoffs. 2 helmet stickers, because I sent you the wrong one.
Yeah.
A helmet sticker for Abbott running back Mason Hell. This kid
is that Hell or
it's ATJL, but it's pronounced Hell.
I wanted to make sure I didn't spell
I have
it
that
wrong.
I have that on good authority. This kid was a warrior in their win over Erie County. 39 carries, 311 yards, and 8 touchdowns on the ground to push them into the state championship game. Unbelievable what he was able to do. And into the title game. They don't play this week. They play next Wednesday. And a helmet sticker to UTSA wide receiver Zachary Franklin. UTSA goes back-to-back as conference champions. They leave the conference with the belt like CM Punk through the crowd. And they are heading to a really fun bowl game against Troy.
That one's
like
very
a real headline,
interesting.
the really great bowl game. But Zachary Franklin really, like, there's a lot of players that UTSA is going to miss. Frank Harris, chief among them. But Zachary Franklin's not far down that list.
He had that touchdown. I don't know if it was late in the third or early in the fourth, but it was towards the north end zone, and he was in the far corner. It was just Mallory and I are sitting in the press box, and we went, "Oh my God, that was beautiful." He's so fun to watch in person too.
3 teams to watch. New home.
Another all caps in the Slack. New home.
New home stuns Wellington with a backup quarterback.
Yes.
Brazos Beck off the bench and off the top rope. New home's into their first ever state semifinal.
And it's not like they were up by 20 and he came in the fourth quarter. Like, he was in the first quarter.
100%. And now an opportunity. They're 48 minutes away. They get Albany this week. Incarnate Word.
What a situation.
They've had an eventful week. So G.J. Kinney is going to be the new head coach at Texas State, as reported first by our own Mike Craven. He's still coaching Incarnate Word, and Incarnate Word won this week. So they're through to the next round of the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, he won, and then he went to take photos at Texas State and went to the Texas State basketball game, and then now he's back at practice the next day.
It is a bizarre situation.
I do think it's cool that he's finishing it out, though.
I think that's great.
Mainly because it's in the playoffs. It would be different if it was just a bowl game.
I think that's great. And Port Neches Groves. If you want to talk about, there weren't a ton of stunners, I think, in the regional finals. There were great games, obviously, but I don't know if there are any games that I would categorize as big upsets. Here is one. P&G over Fort Bend Marshall is a stunner. P&G lost to Marshall by 21 points in the first time they played. And they went out there, they took an early lead, and they held on for a 29-21 win. And Coach Jeff Joseph, in his first year there at P&G, is going to play in a state semifinal. And you know what? They get Liberty Hill. And you know what? Watch this space. Watch this space.
And it was funny because I know that we had been watching that game because we were monitoring it, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then you came in the Slack and you were like, oh, whoa, look at that. And I was like, yeah, they really they took away their speed in the first quarter. I said, but it seems like they're coming back. And they had about 2 drives of looking like they were coming back, and then P&G just throttled them the rest of the game.
3 to see. It's North Shore Westlake, folks. 3 o'clock Saturday at Rice Stadium. Yeah, it's champion versus champion. It's a title unification bout. That's my 3rd wrestling reference.
You're on a heater.
Title unification bout. North Shore and Westlake. Texas Bowl. Texas Tech and Ole Miss.
I like
well, once again, the Texas Bowl. We'll crown Mr. Texas football before the game there. But get excited for Texas Tech and Ole Miss. They have played each other a strange number of times in bowl games.
Yeah.
Tech and Ole Miss. Joey McGuire versus Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, that's a
combo.
pairing that I didn't think I would hear.
Finally, Canadian and Gunner Volume 6. The 6th meeting in 7 years in the state semifinals between the Gunner Tigers and the Canadian Wildcats. That's 3 to see. It's Monday Morning Fallout. We'll see you next. We're going to mothball Monday Morning Fallout now. We'll see you in August. Monday Morning Fallout. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Logo.
Hope you find
Bye,
your dad.
Logo. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us TexasFootball.com, TexasFootball.com, where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. And now, word from our friends at VCR Now.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. Out in Upshur County, one of the rare Cinderellas left standing in the Texas high school football playoffs. The slipper still fits for the Harmony Eagles, and we're pleased to be joined by the head coach, Jeremy Jenkins. Coach, how are you?
Man, I'm doing amazing. How are you guys?
I'll bet you're doing amazing. How was your weekend?
A whole lot of video, whole lot of work.
But I would imagine it probably beats the alternative, right?
Yes, a whole lot of fun. Yes, that's also a whole lot of fun.
I want to go back to last week. You guys are taking on a Newton, a state-ranked Newton squad that had been rolling, and you guys were able to go out there and pull out an incredible 36-32 victory, or 36-22 victory. Thank you to get the win. Going into that game, I think it's fair to call you guys underdogs. What was your message to your guys before you headed out there?
We went and watched them live because we won early. We watched them live, and to be honest, on the way home, we thought no chance because they're huge, fast, and they have kids that don't go two ways, and we do. On the drive back home, we just really thought, man, we're overwhelmed, and we watched a lot of film, and then by Monday, we're like, okay, we got a coin flip. I mean, we knew we had a coin flip of a game once we saw them on film, just some things we were going to exploit. And that's what's happened about 3 weeks in a row. We're really overmatched physically. When by Monday, we're like, okay, we've got a coin flip. So we did not think we were the underdog. We really didn't. And, we didn't go in with that mindset at all. We kind of went in with the same mindset that we've had all year. I know a lot of people don't believe me, but that's really, we really thought we were going to win, to be honest with you. So the mindset was just go do what we've been doing and execute. But, if you just look at Newton take the field and Harmony take the field, they look like a 5A. I mean, I've coached at 5A. They're 5A size and speed. So, you wouldn't think we had a chance, but, we do some things better than they do, to be honest with you, and that's why we won the game.
You guys were able to come out with the win, but and the thing is, it's the third, in a lot of ways, I would say it was the third week in a row where you guys came in as, let's just say that the team may be chasing, to go first area round against Hooks.
There's no doubt.
Hooks, and then, of course, the win against West Rusk. I guess you kind of answered the question, but at this point, is there just this incredible belief within the program that there's no mountain that's too high?
I know, not many people are going to believe this, but, we were 0-4. You can ask. I told the kids we're going to win the region. We're 0-4. I said we're going to win the region because we have talent. It's just what I call first-year blues. We didn't know who was supposed to go here. We were running flex on week 1, and we scrapped it. So the first 3 losses were like we go to White Oak and we have like 1 play. I mean, I'm really not even kidding. So it's all predictable. And right about Wascom, we beat Wascom, and I'm telling you, Wascom's really, really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really good. Wascom is a top 10 team in the state, in my opinion. We beat them, and that's when the kids started believing me. They were like, "Oh, okay, coach may be on to something." And then we're going to beat Dangerfield. Our quarterback, I don't know if you like, he carries the ball about 25 times,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like he's everything. He got concussed the first quarter against Dangerfield. So we get in a hole and we'll throw a wide receiver at quarterback. So that's kind of how we fell under the radar, right? People saw the Dangerfield game, and even that game is 21-21 in the third quarter, and that's without him. Like we go double tight and handle, like we're not even in our offense. And then we kind of put the JV in, but the Dangerfield score was not what was fixed to happen. Like we were already moving the ball on them. So that's what kind of let us stay under the radar, if that makes sense. People thought, that game ended up being 49-20, but they didn't really know what happened. And our running back went out in the second quarter. Our starting running back, we just got him. Dude, we've been playing without him. And he's really our speed guy. Our other back is not a speed guy. So we've kind of known where we are, to be honest with you. But, you go Wascom, then you go Dangerfield, then you go New Waverly, then you go Hooks, then you go West Rusk, then you go Newton. And we've won 9 out of 10. So we've known there's not a Cinderella story hanging around anymore, no matter what, everybody else is thinking, to be honest with you. But we kind of like the role. We really don't care about the role, to be honest with you. Our motivation is to play for each other. So we don't get into all that stuff.
Jeremy Jenkins, head coach of the Harmon Eagles, join us here at Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Coach, one of the many remarkable things here is that you're in your first year there. You've only been there since January. When you stepped foot on campus and you started getting a feel for what you were going to have there as far as this squad is concerned, did you think then that this was a possibility?
Oh, I knew it was. My first day here, we had a 300-pound lineman, and their best player last year, we had 5'11", 250-pound running back. They both transferred to Gilmer, 2 miles over my very first day. But I knew the talent was here. Like, you don't go to the state semifinals in this region without talent. Like, we have talent, obviously, right? We're not you don't beat the teams we beat without talent, right? So, number one, there's plenty of talent. But the most talented kid transferred my very first day here, and I still looked around, and I'm like, well, you got every single solitary piece. Because, like I said, you don't win Region 3 without talent, right? We're not. We have pieces all over the place. We have big linemen. We have athletes. We have a quarterback that took it all. We have receivers. But I knew we had the piece, and if those kids would have stayed, we'd really, really. It was a couple talented kids left. My very first day, they transferred to Gilmer. So, but I still knew. I was like, man, okay, this is realistic. You can see talent. We had the talent, so I knew. The whole time has been to win the region. And then really after the Dangerfield game, we changed we thought a realistic goal was to win state. The coaches didn't believe we had a chance to win the region. Finally, after, we played Dangerfield, they was like, Coach, you're right. And it took the kids probably beating West Rust. And they're like, okay, Coach, we can win the region. And then obviously if you can win this region, you can win the state. Because this region, come on, Dangerfield. And West Rust is just absolutely fantastic. We played Hooks round 2. They're back as an offer, D1 offers, right? Like that's round 2. So if you can get out of Region 3, you're going to have a shot to beat anybody. I don't care what anybody says, because we've been playing fantastic teams.
You mentioned the talent that you have on your team, and it is palpable. You can see it, jumping off the screen at you when you watch the highlights. And one of the guy that I think has kind of taken center stage is QB1 for you, Boston Seahorn, who has been was good all year, and in the playoffs has been unconscious. What can you tell us about this young man? What is it about him that makes him special?
Well, and a lot of this is being in our first year. We didn't really know he could run this well till about 5 games ago, right? When the running back got hurt, we kind of morphed into this, and he's carrying it like 25, 30 times a game right now. So we're just kind of learning this about him, right? So it's been kind of interesting the way the team has morphed it, because we were a heavy hand it to our running back team. Now he is the running back, but he weighs about $155 maybe. So I mean, when you're getting 25, 30 carries and he's rushing for 150, 200 yards a game, there's got to be some heart there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not handing it to a guy that weighs 220 because he's running between the tackles. So there's an insane amount of competitiveness and heart there to tote the rock 25, 30 times a game. And he threw for 215 yards the other night. He rushed 25 times. He had 8 tackles and a pick, and he weighs $155. So, the backs we've been seeing on the other teams are weighing 220. So, just to have the heart to run it between the tackles as much as he does 25 times a game, that's number one. And then obviously he's just talented. He could play college football, college baseball, college basketball. He can do everything. He could pole vault if he wanted to. He's probably fixing to be valedictorian of the class. He's an overachiever, and he's talented. He's fast, right? I'm not saying he's devoid of talent.
Mm-hmm.
He can do everything. Everything. He's our punter. He's the best, probably the best all-around athlete. I mean, every sport. He's just a phenom at everything he does, and he's a great kid. And, he is what makes us go. Make no mistake about it. It is about him. He makes everything go. He's a precision passer. He runs with power at 150 pounds. He runs with speed. He has intelligence, toughness. Like, he is what drives this train.
Well, go ahead, sir.
Sir?
Oh, no, sir. So we're talking with Jeremy Jenkins, head coach of Harmony here on Texas Football Today. Coach, it's on to the next one, and the next one, 7 o'clock Friday at the Barry Center in Cypress. You get the Region 4 champion Poth, and I know you've been, I know you've been looking at film, and I know you've been paying attention to what the Pirates are all about. What do you see on tape? Don't ask you to give away your game plan, but what do you see on tape? What's it going to take for you guys to get a win?
I see Harmony. They're us. They run our same offense the same way, the same formations, the same plays, and they're us. Right? You're going to look at both of us and be like, man, they're kind of low on talent. They don't have the Blazers, blah blah blah. But what people don't understand, having tough, coachable kids is a talent, right? Their coaching is what I'm scared about, right? They have they're just Harmony. They're us to a T. You're going to see teams that do the same thing the same way. They're going to be in the right position. They're not going to beat you with just having a bunch of guys that run a 4-5. But we know for sure we're not going to scheme these guys up. We've been able to scheme, get some things open through scheming. The last month, we've really been able to scheme. You're not going to scheme them. Right, they're going to be in the right spot. You're going to have to execute. So we just see us. They're very similar. Their quarterback and running back toted a lot, and they do a million formations and do a lot of read plays. So it's what I told the coach. Do you see yourself when you see us? And he's like, yeah, they're thinking the same thing. So definitely not a contrast in styles.
It's going to be fun Friday night at the Barry Center in Cypress as the Harmony Eagles take on the Poth Pirates for a spot at AT&T Stadium in the 3A Division II state championship game, and their head coach, Jeremy Jenkins. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all your success, and go get them Friday night.
Bye-bye.
All right, there he goes, Jeremy Jenkins, head coach. Harmony Eagles joined us here at Texas Football Today. Remember, he mentioned it, but they started 0-4. Mm-hmm. They started the year in our computer rankings 60th in 3A Division II. 60th. I would need to go back and check the rankings after week 4. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. And where they live. I will tell you they were lower than 60th at that point. So what in the world? So yeah, let's go to the week 5 computer rankings. Let me just see this. Harmony. Oh no, they had actually moved up to 57. The computer was not fooled. But you're talking about, I mean, he obviously there was that belief within the program that they could succeed and they could get to this point. But nobody outside the program thought they could. Really and truly.
He even said he was like he had to convince his coaches a little bit.
Yeah.
I
mean, but they're through a very rough and tumble Region 3. And my picks come out Wednesday. I'll just say that. My picks come out Wednesday, and I don't know if I've decided who I think is going to win this game.
He hit the nail on the head of We'll be honest, there are some regions that if one team gets hot, we're like, okay, well, if
Yeah.
you're getting hot at the right time, you should have a pretty easy path. Easy, not as battle tested.
You can win.
Path
You can
to
be
get
hot
there.
and just win.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. You can't just fluke your way through Region 3 over
Right.
here.
No, absolutely. So, it's going to be fun. Poth and Harmony for a spot at AT&T Stadium going on Friday at the Perry Center. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
A lot of people too wanting to point out that this is impressive. We talked about who did it with their backup quarterback, who won.
It was Newhome.
Newhome.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty Hill also lost both running backs on the same play.
On the same play.
And they won by however much.
Yeah.
40.
They ran past
that
Flat Bluff.
That was one of the things that people were like, oh, y'all didn't mention that. It's like, yeah, that is.
That
Really
is very impressive. Yeah. And that they lost Nova Long, and like on the same play. Their top two running backs
That's
on the
the
same play.
crazy thing.
I know. I had heard it was the same series. I'm like, man, that sucks. And then they said the same play. I'm like, how in the world?
Gosh. Yeah.
It happened. So, but they find a way. They'll need to find a way this week against Liberty Hill in another matchup, against PNG in another matchup of purple teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Harmony head coach Jeremy Jenkins for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.